and gentlemen, the North Atlantic Council places significant importance in this key leadership training, and rightly so, because planning within a multinational environment is not straightforward. Commanders and their staff need to be able to interact and communicate their operational thinking and direction efficiently and effectively, and that is what the COPD is all about, NATO's Comprehensive Operations Planning Directive. It's all about getting the campaign planning right, and it's all about establishing clear and unambiguous operational design. Well, what is the context in which we are operating? Now, nobody can foretell the future, but it is a fair assumption to make that 21st century conflict, like much of the conflict at the latter end of the 20th century and indeed the first decade of this century, is going to be hybrid, and it's going to be among the people. And by hybrid, I don't mean a clear distinction between different types, with major combat operations at one end and traditional peacekeeping at the other end. For what we see is a complex kaleidoscope in which major combat operations, insurgency, counterinsurgency, terrorism, organized crime are all part of a complex mixture. And what does this mean for the way we, as senior commanders and senior staff, are expected to operate? First is the imperative, I would suggest, of getting command right, without which failure is guaranteed. On the face of it, the essence of military command is timeless. It is about getting the right capability to the right place at the right time to deliver the right effect. This means understanding the problem, mission, and constraints, planning, resourcing, directing, and executing, and aiming off for the unexpected. So not only does this require clarity of strategic direction, but at the theatre and tactical level, it means getting the operational design right and executing that design. Well, I would suggest that what has changed since the days in which of the Cold War, in which we planned industrial warfare, what has changed is that this is very firmly now a joint civil-military venture, top to bottom, whether in major combat operations, counterinsurgency, or any form of operations. Because what we're faced with now demands a different approach to command at all levels of war. Hybrid conflict means we need hybrid solutions. Hence the importance of putting influence at the heart of our operational design. Whom do we want to influence? And how do we communicate that influence? What is the relative influence effect of kinetic operations or non-kinetic operations? And how should they be synchronized and sequenced? Fundamental to influence is the relationship between mass, presence, and precision. Mass to provide means to hold ground where necessary, presence to protect the people and secure the necessary reconstruction and development, and precision, because when we strike, we cannot afford the collateral damage which alienates precisely the people whom we are aspiring to protect. So there can be no purely military solutions in this complex hybrid world. Security cannot be achieved solely through the application of military force. Rather, success depends on the closest possible integration between the military and the non-military actors on the stage if unity of purpose is to be achieved. And unity of purpose depends on the right command and control. Hence, of course, NATO's Comprehensive Operational Planning Directive. This exercise is based on the latest version of that COPD, and I have no doubt that its further development will benefit from your engagement and your experience. This event gives you an opportunity to refresh, to explore, and to question the processes involved in planning at the operational level. You can do so amongst your peers without the pressure of a demanding staff and real operations. But when you leave here and when you return to your jobs and your busy posts, many of you will be directly involved in the major challenges that the Alliance faces on the operational side. I highlight in particular the challenges that we in the Alliance face over the next 2 years in Afghanistan. In terms of the strategy, it's relatively straightforward. Transition, security to Afghan control by the end of 2014. So what? Build up Afghan security force capabilities. And at the same time, thin out our own over the next 2 years. But that relatively straightforward statement hides complexity of a daunting nature. What is the nature of the post-2014 mission going to be? What is the glide path to that 2014 mission? How do nations work out what to take out in terms of redeployment? Challenges of redeployment over very tenuous ground lines of communication, neither of which has yet been proven through north or south. And the air line of communication, of course, is extremely restricted as well. And then on top of that, from my perspective as NATO's force generator, how do we plan the force generation requests to nations? How do we lay out a strategic carpet to nations without clarity on what happens post-2014? Now, all of this is going to require the most careful and precise synchronization and planning, and it all hangs, therefore, on the document or the planning procedures that you will be operating and discussing this week. And of course, to do that in an alliance of 28 nations is challenging enough, albeit an alliance in which the processes and procedures, the doctrine, the TTP, and the SOPs to aid interoperability have all been developed over the last 6 decades or so. But then you add 22 partners in Afghanistan, from afar afield in the west, El Salvador, in the east, Mongolia, from the north, Sweden and Finland, and then to the south, Australia, New Zealand, and indeed Tonga. This multilateral, multinational partnership needs clarity, and that clarity must come, therefore, from the COPD. And it's particularly good to welcome 4 of our partner nations in that respect as well. Well, I look forward to seeing how this week goes. What I ask of you, and what the Senior Mentor, General Rams, asks of you, is for you to engage, to contribute, to question, to collaborate, and to add value to the activities. Be in no doubt, you are the most valuable training resource in this room here. We have bottled here, in a sense, the essence of experience and leadership from right across the alliance, from different nations, not only in an alliance context, but in a national context as well. So there is no question that you have the opportunity to learn a great deal from each other. I ask you to challenge the supporting staff and to use that personal experience and your expertise to add value to NATO's comprehensive approach to operations. I will spend some of the morning with you, then I will be back again on Thursday, but General Rams, of course, will be taking you through the entire week. I therefore invite you to make the most of what this course offers, and above all, as I said last night, to use this opportunity to network and to build relationships both within your syndicates and across the course as a whole, because I have no doubt that those relationships will be of immense value when you start to tackle some of the real issues and challenges that we face, both operationally and otherwise in future in the Alliance. Ladies and gentlemen, have a very good course, and I look forward to seeing some more of you later on this week.